I want to say it's been an absolute privilege to have been involved in this club, both as a player, then as a board member, and then in this role. And I don't take that lightly. It is an absolute privilege to hold a position in a footy club in any role, whether it's a player, support staff, coaching, administration. It is an absolute privilege. I've never felt it's a right. I've never felt at any point the club has ever owed me anything. You'd hope that when you're leaving as a player, and it's a bit like deja vu for me, I feel like I've had this conversation at the end of 27. But from my perspective, the club's been enormous for me and my family. And from a 15-year-old to a now early 50-year-old, to have the association that I've had and will continue to have, I really do feel it's a privilege to be involved. When I first had my involvement, and I'm sort of looking at the young boys starting off their careers, amazing journey ahead for you all, and really exciting. When I had my first involvement with the club as a 15-year-old, way back, I'm not going to say what year, but there were not too many of you in this room that were born at that time, the club was in financial ruin, and we know the story behind that. Not so long after that, it was only a matter of 5 or 6 years, we're in financial ruin again. So mid-90s, the club was really struggling. So for my time as a player, it was a financial struggle the whole time. And really until 2007 when I retired, the position was better, but it wasn't thriving. And my time here, firstly as a board member, and now in this executive position and leading you all, I've seen, and you've seen, amazing change. The club is thriving. The club's in an amazing position to be able to move forward. I'm really pleased that Bainesy, in the last year, that was my 8th season, and it was a real contemplation opportunity for me. And I'm really pleased that Bainesy not convinced me to stay, but it was persuaded me just to see the next little bit through. And I'm really pleased that he did that, because I leave now knowing how well the program's placed. I can see the people thriving, and I feel that the team and the program is now well and truly on its path to achieve some really amazing success on and off the field. 2016 Premiership, being involved in that, quite amazing. The 2018 Girls Premiership, but probably the thing that I leave knowing is, as a father and as a parent, what can you do for your children that's going to create better opportunities for them, whether it's in their personal life, professional life, and for me, we've obviously got a daughter who's pursuing her journey as a footballer. And when I was involved in that period and having to develop and implement it, Izzy was only just starting to play football. So my passion behind that was not on the back of she might play AFLW one day. It was on the back of having 2 daughters and a wife who I had enormous respect for, but also understanding how difficult at times it is for girls and females to navigate sport in particular, certainly at the highest level, and the respect that, or the lack of respect that sometimes comes with that. So if there's one thing I've been able to do over my journey that I really look retrospectively fondly on, is leaving knowing we've been able to create a path for girls like Izzy to live their dream just like you boys. And it's a fledgling competition still, for her to get up every day and want to be like Aaron, want to be like Marcus, want to be like you guys, and to be able to pull on the Guernsey that she wore as a toddler. It's an absolute incredibly proud moment for me, and I know it is for Mel too. I'm not going to talk about individuals or thank individuals just now, because I think it's really important that I do that personally, and I'll definitely forget people as well. But I do want to say collectively, thank you. Thank you for entrusting me to be in my position, and I look forward to, over the course of this week, just catching up with you all individually as I prepare to head off into the sunset on Friday. Thanks everyone.
Hugo's going to introduce me start, but just before he does, some of you know that I played with Granny for 3 years, 93, 4 and 5. He didn't come down and play in the twos with me much, but one of the most profound things that anyone's ever said to me was by our number one ticket holder, Alan Johnston, who many of you know. Alan was on the board during different periods where the club was destitute, as Granny mentioned using your words, was in financial ruin. Through that 90s period, and that's the period we played a few years together. And Alan said to me that there were clubs that were coming for Chris, they wanted him to play for them, and we'd lost players historically, the Gary Dempseys, Calvin Templemans, marquee players who the club couldn't never afford to lose, but had to kind of almost sell to survive. And during that period, the temptation would have been for Granny to go and take a higher dollar, a longer period of security at another club. And I won't mention the one club in particular that came really hard. But Alan says that if Granny had left, his club might no longer exist. And that's probably the most profound thing that I reckon anyone's ever said to me about you. And you're an amazing player and leader in your own way. So for guys in the room, many of you didn't see Granny play and you don't see what he does behind the scenes. Just think of him as his legacy from an ancestry point of view and what he's done for the footy club, and to think about where we've got to. There's a big chance that it probably wouldn't have happened if he had gone to another club. Pretty significant. Right? So thanks for all your time, mate, and the work we've done together. And obviously we'll always be here for anything you need. As a support, we've only got a normal fob. You'd have a golden fob, I reckon. To obviously come in whenever you need to and want to. And obviously Izzy's still playing. And from my point of view, all the best, mate, with your next step in your working life. But definitely a good time to take a break and take a breath and enjoy some family time, mate. So thank you very much.